one doesn't become enlightened by imagining the figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The quote by Carl Jung. This video is an explanation about how to make the unconscious conscious. What is it exactly saying to you? The way I understood it for me and how I went through my soul healing journey was that I realized that I had a darker aspect of myself that I was denying, suppressing, rejecting, feel ashamed of, feel guilty about. And so what I understood was happening was that I was at war with my own self. So the first step in making the unconscious conscious is your awareness. You are becoming aware that there's more to you than just what you know so far about yourself. You start noticing that you have darker aspects of your own self that you actually not really fond of, that you're ashamed of, that you don't want to admit you have. So this is the first step, your own awareness. The next step, you need to examine it. You need to figure out what this is about. You need to recognize it because it is part of you. It is an integral part of you. You cannot just toss half of your human, spiritual, emotional, mental body. This is part of you. But why does it exist in you? Because that's how everything is created in this universe. Everything. If you notice, if you become more conscious and if you start growing your consciousness and opening yourself up to more awareness, higher level of awareness, if you notice how the nature is created, everything has two. It has light and dark. There's no day without night. There's a peaceful weather and there's a stormy weather. These are just simple examples. So there's both. So we are the same way. We have both. And the only way to become harmonious is to actually becoming aware that you are both. Then you have to accept it. You have to just tell yourself, I accept that I have a dark side, because this is just how everything is created in this universe. Then you start examining what is this dark side telling you about yourself, what is it teaching you. And what you will start realizing is that it is everything. So your shadow, your dark side, is everything that you've been suppressing, denying, pushing away, closing your eyes to it that you have it. These are all these suppressed feelings, emotions, negative thought patterns, and so forth. So when you become aware that you have the dark side and you start accepting it, just telling yourself, it's this simple. You just tell yourself, I accept that I have a dark side. I accept it. I accept that I am angry. I accept that I am jealous and so forth, whatever emotions are coming up from the low vibration. So you have to be able to just say, I accept this in me. And then what you do, you start examining, you start asking yourself, why am I experiencing these feelings, these emotions, these thoughts? What is it trying to teach me about myself? And when you start working on it, doing your shadow work, you will realize that this is all the childhood core trauma that has been suppressed and denied attention, and that's all that it wants. So it's kind of like, imagine like this. This is how I imagine it for myself. Imagine this scared little kid standing in the dark room, crying from fear and frustration, and all this kid wants is love and understanding and attention, and being hugged and supported and understood. And that's how I understood my own shadow. This is all that denied, suppressed, hidden, not known that I had that in me, that just wanted to be understood and loved and accepted. So that's how I started doing my shadow work. I just started writing in a journal. I created a journal, and whatever upset I was experiencing, let's say I got triggered by an argument, or somebody told me something and I got triggered, I would come home and start writing in the journal. I would write, I got upset when I was called a name, and then I would just examine why was I feeling it, where was the root cause of that, and digging inward and deeper until it actually pointed me to the very first experience of similar emotion. And that exercise I got from the book. I mentioned it several times. It's called You're Never Upset for the Reason You Think You Are, by Paul and Lane Cartwright. But you can buy any book. Whichever book you find on healing your childhood core wounds would be very helpful. That's how you do this shadow work exercise. So that's what I started doing. I became aware that I had a darker aspect of me. I recognized it. I said, okay, I recognize you. You are part of me. I accept you. Like in the beginning, of course, I was ashamed, and I didn't particularly like my shadow, because it's kind of you feel ugly, right? Because this is all that negative stuff, low vibrational stuff, and we were taught by society, by how we were brought up, that this is not good, right? So that's where that faulty belief system is, that this is not good to have this these emotions, the dark emotions, or this dark belief system, this is the trick. You have to become aware of it and just release it. Once you do the exercises, you'll be releasing it from your mental and emotional body. You will be replacing this outdated belief system and thought system, emotion out of your body. You will be accepting of the duality of you, that you have light and dark, and you will be figuring out why you're having it by doing the shadow work exercises. And once you narrow it down to your first time you experience these negative emotions, you will be able to then recognize it, understand where it came from, and then start working on releasing it with different exercises. You release it by writing in the journal. I feel jealous when, I don't know, people invite others and not me. Just stuff like that. But these are all valid emotions. So when you release them by writing them in the journal many times, by speaking them out, you are actually releasing them from your system, from your emotional body, from your mental body. So it all this stuff needs to come out. Just imagine like this is physical body, right? But your emotional body, let's say, imagine like a cloud, and then when you're filled with darker low energy vibration, imagine the cloud is dark, like a dark cloud. So that dark energy needs to exit, because if you suppress and deny it and hide it and close your eyes towards it, it will stay inside. So how do you release it? You're aware of it, you accept it, you narrow it down, you go inward, figure out where it started, and then once you meet it, you understand, oh, okay, that was about, when I was a little girl, and for example, and I got jealous that, my mom was praising my cousin and not me, and that's how that jealousy was born, because that emotion, you'll recognize it, then you'll just start releasing it. You will release it by saying, I felt jealous because of this, and just speak it out, release it, and then you'll be done. You'll feel lighter. And then you'll start replacing it with the positive belief system or affirmation. You can just say, I love and accept myself the way I am, and I forgive myself for all the lessons that I didn't learn until, I learned what needed to be understood and learned. And, so you just pretty much, that's how you do the shadow work. I know I'm a little bit kind of rambling, but it's hard to cover this topic in a 10-minute video limit that I have. So I'm just trying to explain an overview, and I can answer in detail under the post. I hope it helped. Blessings.